on 8 August 1967. The 5 foreign ministers from Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and Philippines signed a document in Bangkok. It was a document that formed the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and the document will be known as Asean Declaration. Those 5 foreign ministers are the founding fathers of ASEAN. ASEAN was first joined by 5 countries, but now it comprises 10 member states including Brunei, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Vietnam. The objective of ASEAN establishment is to prioritize economic growth and development, social and culture in its member states, as well as promoting regional peace and stability. ASEAN also aims to foster cooperation and build mutual trust between nations. In order to better measure the cooperation and trust, numbers of policies have been introduced, such as the ASEAN Free Trade Area AFTA. Today, ASEAN is an important regional organization which its rules and influences has strong base to the world.
AFTA is the new agreement that aims to reduce tariff on the large range of products, but also aims to remove non-tariff barrier, quantitative restrictions, and other cross-border measures. So by removing tariff barrier among ASEAN members, AFTA will make the ASEAN economy a single production base. At the same time, will create a regional market over 500 million consumers. According to original plan, AFTA will be fully established by the year of 2008. But ASEAN Economic Minister was decided in 1994 to accelerate on the process by advancing the completion date by 2003. In 27 and 28 January 1992, the 4th ASEAN Summit was held in Singapore, and the ASEAN head of the government formally agreed to create AFTA through the Singapore Declaration and the Framework Agreement on enhancing the ASEAN economic cooperation. After that, the exchange summary of products that might include and exclude and a draft tentative regard the list of products were prepared during the AFTA Council meeting in Jakarta on 11 December 1992, which was enabled for the ASEAN Free Trade Area AFTA to officially started by 1st January 1993.
Moving on to the AFTA membership countries, we are going to look on who is the member countries of the AFTA. At the first establishment of AFTA, there was only 6 ASEAN members, which are Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Then the membership was expanded to another 4 Southeast Asian countries. As a result, Vietnam joined in 1995, Myanmar and Laos then followed to join in 1997, and lastly was Cambodia that joined in 1999. Therefore, AFTA now has comprises all 10 ASEAN countries into the agreement. How was the progress and outcome of the AFTA? As a part of the agreement, each member countries shall propose a set of product items for which tariff will begin to be reduced under the fast track and normal track programs. This is due to the Common Effective Preferential Tariff CEPT schedule that began to apply as an instrument of AFTA. The fast track covered full-fledged achievement of free trade target among ASEAN member countries will take place within 10 years, which is by 2003. While in normal track, the products with tariff rates of over 20% and 20% or below also having different schedule of years to reduce the tariff rates. Malaysia has supplied the most product items among the member countries, which is 11,748 items, while Thailand and Philippines offers the fewest 5,318 and 5,561 items respectively. To measure the achievement of the AFTA agreement, several studies were conducted. Among the research in 1994 by Ramasamy founded that AFTA agreement on Indonesian imports illustrated that its import from other ASEAN members would rise by 6%. Besides, another study by Calvo Pardo ETAL in 2009 also found an increasing pattern over the 13 years after 1993 in the proportion of imports among the 6 ASEAN members.
The first challenges is about the pressure that local industry face. This especially give impact toward the emerging industry. This can be seen in Malaysia as they have postponed the automotive industry into the inclusion list as they want to protect the national car maker which are Proton and Produa from competing with other countries. Next, the second challenges is about the differences of economic background and economic status between the ASEAN country. This leads to the differences of the tariff rates between the country. For example, Singapore have a good and effective trading nation also with their long history of free trade. Meanwhile, Brunei, their only source of income come from the petroleum industry. These differences make most of the ASEAN members not willingly to completely remove the tariff, as the tariff is one of the way for them to obtain profit, especially toward the country that have a low source of income. The third challenges is focusing more on individual gains rather than collective gains. These individual gains make the objective of AFTA cannot be implemented completely. For example, Thailand focuses more on creating cooperation with other countries outside of the ASEAN, such as Japan, Europe, and USA, in terms of automotive industry. This kind of individual gain will become a great loss to the ASEAN, especially to the new industry, as the ASEAN members depend more on other countries outside of the ASEAN.
The first benefit of AFTA is it led to the tariff reduction as well as resulted in lowering the product price throughout ASEAN, which consumers can have a high purchasing power from buying the cheap price of goods. Besides, AFTA also gives benefits towards manufacturing industries from enjoying with the lower production costs and cheaper imported raw materials that encourage in boosting the commerce activities. For example, the trade creation for Indonesia's imports from other ASEAN partners has increased by 6%. Additionally, this increased the competitiveness to all ASEAN companies in the international market. Next, the benefit of AFTA is it able to assist ASEAN nations' products in gaining access to a regional market. Therefore, this has increased the gross domestic product through the growth of dividends that come from the closer regional economic cooperations. Besides, this also lead to the increase of import and export activities even within the extra ASEAN countries, which ensure the option of retaining the relatively large percentage of extra ASEAN trade in the ASEAN trade matrix. For example, there has been a reported growing tendency in the percentage of imports amongst its ASEAN nations over the 13 years since 1993. Another benefit of AFTA is it increased the economic growth through more competitive on global market and from the investment towards expanding local industry. This meaning that AFTA is active in increase the number of chances for local and smaller foreign-owned enterprises to compete and to serve as suppliers to multinational corporations, which will expand to the networks of subcontracting operations and strengthens regional relations between industries. Besides, the MNC investment networks in ASEAN nations promote strong regional economic integrations by increasing intra-industry and intra-firm trade flows.
The Southeast Asian region was once being colonized by superpowers like Britain, United States, and Spain. But now, the ASEAN nations are growing and some of its member states are expected to witness positive, real gross domestic product (GDP) growth in 2022. There are significant effects of AFTA in both import and export product, where the tariff eliminations and the relaxed trade requirement resulted in price product reductions throughout ASEAN nation. The free market trade make ASEAN goods to be traded to its member states market with minimum or without tariff. With the constructive principle accepted by its regional countries, ASEAN has become an important society to the East Asia countries.